Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Corner Cauldron. No, listen to me, Corner Cauldron. I'm all confuzzled. All right, I've got Jen started already laughing.
Wrong note. Wrong
Oh,
mic.
wrong podcast. Hi. Welcome to Witches Winging It with me, Buffy, and my witchy poo sister from another mister, my co-hostess with the mostest, Jen. How are you doing, Jen?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, just peachy. We were backstage just gaggling away. How was your turkey day, ma'am?
It was good. Got together with everybody and had some food and cleaned up and then took my butt home and laid on the couch. It was tiring. I've realized the older you get, the more tired you are very early at the end of these holidays.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I
It's,
can't I
it's
can't do it like I used to. So, how was yours?
very quiet, I will tell you that. It was just Mama and I. Um and then Gabby and her partner Alex came for dessert. And I was requisitioned to make cream puffs. Now, me going to culinary school, I have that pastry down pat. I know what I'm doing. I know how to do it. But my pastry bags that I bought at a grocery store that shall remain nameless has the suckiest pastry bags ever. I swear to God. These
Mhm.
I have never had so many blowouts when it came to profiteroles in my entire life. I said I didn't have this much problem when I was learning how to make them in culinary school. This is ridiculous. What the hell's going on here?
Yeah, sometimes the pastry bags can be a pain, and sometimes I just use Ziploc bags and I cut the end and I put the tip that I need in there and just use that Ziploc bag because it's easier sometimes.
You know what? I should have done that. Hindsight is 2020. I should have done that. I really should have. But I didn't because I was at the grocery store and said, "Oh, look, pastry bags. Sounds like a plan." Um, and then of course my daughter promptly told me, "Mom, the chocolate that you put on here is too thick." I said, "Girl, maybe you should have made them your dang self then." If I don't, you know what? Between making the cranberry sauce, the stuffing, the mashed potatoes, the turkey, the wedding soup, the other cheesecake for dessert, your cream puffs. Okay, I made the chocolate a little too thick. So, but I wound up taking the leftover um, cream puffs to Gabby's work where she works. And I don't even think I left the parking lot. And she was texting me, "Mom, there's only two left." Yeah, if you just ever want to bring leftovers here, we'll take them. We'll eat them. I was like, oh my God.
That's what we do here. Anything we got left over, or if we buy something and it's like something we want to try and we don't like it, I pack that stuff up and I take it straight to my job. And I sit it on the table, I put it in the fridge, and I put a note on it that says,
Yep.
have at it. And let me tell you, they're like vultures.
Listen, I have never, I should have taken them to work, but then they would have had to wait till Monday because we're off. I don't think my work has much of a choice considering that 99.99999% of the people that work there are women and they all know that they are going to call off sick for Black Friday or, just not show up.
Mm.
So they have no choice but to give us Black Friday off. So they would have waited until Monday, but I have never in my life I'm reminded of Finding Nemo. You know the seagull part in Finding Nemo where they're mine, mine,
Uh-huh.
mine, mine. It's
Yep.
hilarious. It's hilarious. And not to say anything, but Monday when I got in at work, we have a communal table that we have in the center of the kitchen area, which if you want something just to go away, like you want to give it out for free or you have leftovers, it goes on that table.
Yeah, same with
It
that.
was there was not an inch. of the table left because there were cookies and chocolates, and someone always gives someone a Pepperidge Farm variety pack that nobody wants, and that
Mhm.
goes there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's pretty much all gone by the time 5 o'clock rolls around. So yeah, but it was a good one. It was quiet, had some quality time. Um, Alexis and my daughter Lexi and her husband um, Andrew, they had to work, so unfortunately there was no turkey for them. I think it was more like cafeteria food when they got hungry, and that's a shame. I miss saying
Yeah.
them. But they will be with us for Christmas because they work Thanksgiving. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
Any hoodles. I was warning everybody prior to, I think it was like 2 minutes before we went on air, that there is spirit that's trying to walk into the. Look out, because knowing me with this show, you know, it'll pop up eventually. Oh my goodness. Have you seen all this things on social media about um the stolen holiday, like Christmas being the stolen holiday?
Yeah. About how yeah.
It's ridiculous, and you'll get some people that will fight you tooth and nail for everything.
Mhm.
um I don't know if you saw what I posted on Facebook about.
I did, yeah. Because
Yeah,
first when you said it, I was sitting there thinking, no, I haven't heard that. And then I was like, my brain was like, cling. And I was like, yes, I have. But yeah, it's
yeah,
when you go over everything, they don't understand that they did. They really stole practices from the pagans and stuff like that. And they just kind of put their little spin on it, but it wasn't theirs. They stole it.
yeah, pretty much. And that was just to get converters from
Mhm.
paganism to Christianity. um just a little FYI, we're still here. We're still here. We're still here. Hi, we're still here. We haven't left. We haven't gone anywhere. I mean, and they were like, "Oh, Christmas trees. Oh, Yule logs. Oh, this candles and gift giving." No, honey. Do you know
Yeah.
gift giving goes all the way back to the prehistoric era? That they have evidence. I think it's not paleontologists, anthropologists have evidence of actually early caveman giving gifts to someone in order to gain an alliance. This is before they even had clothes.
Mhm.
Okay. They were doing that. So no, that is not Christian. The whole Yule log thing, sorry, Norse pagan. Uh, you know, Christmas trees, boughs of holly that you put on your house on your fireplace. Norse pagan. What was it? Christmas wreaths, I think I said was Roman, but that was way before the Romans accepted Christianity. There were
Mhm.
Roman pagans, and
Yeah.
they did it during Saturnalia, which is the honoring of Saturn and the sun. So yes, they did all that way prior to the Catholics. Yep, pretty much stolen. Everything stolen.
Yeah.
I mean, even the whole thing about Santa Claus and the eight reindeers. Odin was reported to wear red, and the white around it was actual either ermine, or they believed white hair from actual hairs, like bunnies hairs, white hairs. And he rode on a horse that had 8 legs that was called Sleipnir. So they think that that's where they got the 8 reindeer. It wasn't actually 8 reindeer, it was one horse that had 8 legs. Um, and he would come down and he would give those children including some adults that were quote unquote good, uh, like fruit.
Yeah.
They didn't have presents, so they would have fruit or sweets or candies of some kind and would give them to them or leave them on their doorstep. He was the one that led the great hunt during these times of years. So yeah, unfortunately, no. I mean, the Christians claim it now, but that was all to gain Christianity,
Yeah.
to convert people. Many people think that Saint Patrick, that drove the snakes out of Ireland. Let me tell you, there are no snakes in Ireland, people. The temperature in the environment is not conducive to have snakes. There are no such thing as snakes in Ireland unless someone has brought a pet snake from overseas, smuggled it into Ireland. There are no snakes was a code word for pagans. They drove all the pagans out of Ireland. No, you didn't. Still there. Unfortunately, unfortunately to some, we are still there. So, um, that's that. That's all I've had to say. I mean, I don't know how many people adopt things for Christmas. You know, well, everybody adopts something from being pagan, including Christmas trees. Um, there are Yule logs are the biggest thing. Have you ever put a Yule log in your house?
Mm-mm.
Yule logs are neat. I mean, now they have them as centerpieces for their dining room table or their dining table, and it's just like a half a log, about yay big,
Mm-hmm.
with candles and on the top of it, usually 3 candles, and it's adorned with holly and all kinds of good stuff, mistletoe and um, the pine needles or pine cones and branches from fir trees,
Mm-hmm.
like Douglas fir trees, Fraser fir trees, and they put it around as a remembrance of the things that are about to turn, things are about to change into the spring. Um, so, what is your thought on the Christmas tree? Do you know anything about Christmas trees?
I know I've heard it, but it's not sticking with me right now. So I'm not exactly sure where that one came from.
Well, Christmas trees were considered a Norse pagan thing, but they were also Germanic pagan things. They would bring an evergreen into the house, and this is why they call it evergreen, because people, it never dies, it never turns brown unless you keep it in the house for too long. But an evergreen tree is a remembrance to the pagans that with death, which is the state that our earth is in now, or those that are in the northern hemisphere, because it's cold and it's mostly dark outside by the time it hits 4 o'clock anymore. It's dark.
Yeah, by 5 o'clock it's dark out.
Yeah. That we're in our dark times. However, nature has a way of promising a spring. Things will be reborn again, that the darkness will not last forever, and things will warm up, and animals will start having babies again. Also, the winter solstice is the longest night. It seems like it gets dark forever and stays dark forever. That's because it does for the longest night.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that is marked by December 21st. Sometimes the 20th, but usually the 21st is when we have the winter solstice. And the Yule log was inspired by the Germanic and the Norse pagans. What they would do is they would go outside, all the people in the village, they would douse out their fireplaces, and it would be very dark. They would have no heat. They would throw water on their fireplaces. Any fire that they had burning would be doused out. They would go out, and their shaman, medicine worker, or high priest, or if they had someone who was the head of the community, would say blessings over an effigy of, or a bonfire, this huge pillar of wood that they had stored up. They would take a Yule tree, which one of the biggest trees that they could find, big and round on the inside, and they would cut it up into pieces, and they would give it out to each household. They would give one chunk of the tree. They would bring it into the home after they've cleaned everything and doused the fire out. That was their Yule log that they had. They would sacrifice a tree, cut it up, and put it in this big gigantic pile of wood that they had found. They would say blessings over it, and then whoever was in charge of the ritual or the celebration, whether it be a shaman or head of the community, would light a fire with that, right? And then he would take one torch, light it in the fire, and then each household would take their torch and light it on that one, right? They would then bring it into their house and light the Yule log in the fireplace. It's a way of cleansing. It's a way of getting rid of things that no longer serve you. These months are called the dead months. Everything is dead. It's very cold. It's very dark. You hardly see any animals out. People are shut in because it's too cold to be outside. And that is a time to reflect, a time to get rid of that which no longer serves you or serves a purpose. It's time for cleaning out the old. Um, you do rituals where you get rid of old habits, old clothes, old things that you don't need anymore, material things, old ways of thinking. You get rid of all of that, and that fire that you just put back into your home represents the new, represents good luck, represents protection, safety, warmth to last you until the spring. And they would keep that fire burning all winter long.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So when you think about it, winter solstice, when we do ritual for winter solstice, or we do blessings, we are always reminded to get rid of that which does not serve you anymore. Shed the old, like a snake would shed its skin. You're getting rid of the dead things, the things that you don't use anymore, things that old ways of thinking, old ways or old habits, bad habits, and you would reflect on that and prepare in the spring when people are outside and you're conversating more with people in your own community. You're out more to change your ways and make a new you. Yep. So that is all about the winter solstice. We got Dave Cummings in the chat. Hey, Dave, how are you?
Hi.
How are you, Dave? So have you thought about doing anything witchy and new for the winter solstice or the new year?
I have not. Like I said, I am so far behind on trying to get my life together here this year for Christmas. I'm still, like I said, I'm still trying to get this one wall out here painted. I'm trying to get my stuff hung back up so I can get just even the Christmas tree up. So
Right.
for anything new or, new traditions and stuff like that, I haven't even let my brain wander to that part yet. So, but yeah, it would definitely be cool to, look up the old traditions and, and stuff like that and incorporate that into Christmas.
Mm-hmm. That
I
would
just
be great.
don't think it's
Yeah.
going to be this year.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You still have a long way to go. I mean, you've got 3 more weeks before said beginning of the new year kind of thing.
True, but I don't know if it's just me. I feel like time is just like
Mm-hmm.
it's just disappearing. Like, and even like today, like I mean, it's not even like so much like weeks or anything. Like today, I feel like I literally got to work this morning and I blinked and it was 12 o'clock and I'm like, where did the morning go? And then I blinked again and I was like, oh, I'm leaving work in an hour. I'm like, where did today go? So it's just crazy.
You should have come to work with me. It was the slowest day of the year almost. I felt like, it seemed like hours and it was only 5 minutes. And you look at the clock and go, dang, man, where just hurry the hell up, will
I've
you?
had those days too.
Yeah. But for those of you who want to start, I mean, everybody thinks that they have to throw away everything and start fresh. No, you don't. A little bit at the time. A little bit at the time. I know this time of year where I work at Tree of Life Shop, Sherry usually does a decorating your own Yule log class, where she teaches you about the Yule log, um, and how to decorate it. And she'll give you the supplies to decorate, and you can put that on your dining room table as a centerpiece. That's a start for something new,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, you could decorate if you have a mantle in your house, put the boughs of holly or um, tree boughs on it, like the little the swags of the tree branches.
Yeah, I used to do that when we had a fireplace
Mm-hmm.
um, at our last house, but we don't have a fireplace, and I don't even have a fake fireplace in this one. So I can't do that.
Nope, don't have a fireplace in my house either. So just do what we can with what we have.
Yeah.
But just do small things. Do small things in your house. Um Simmer pots. Simmer pots are a very pagan thing. They're reminders of times when there was not a lot to drink or there was not a lot of food. Food was scarce. They would keep simmer pots going with all kinds of spices to make things smell good. Um,
We do that.
do you do the
Yeah,
simmer
we
pot?
I have a little tiny one that sits on the stove and we do like cinnamon sticks and orange slices and
Yep,
we just let it boil and the whole house just starts to smell.
yep. And that was way back then as well. But here's the thing: a lot of it was because, I'm going to be honest, people were stinky back then. People were really stinky back then.
Some
Okay.
people are still like that, but I'm not going to name any names.
Well, yeah, there's still some people that are a little stinky. But people were stinky back then,
Mm-hmm.
and they would put simmer pots on in the fireplace just to make it smell good, to keep all the stink away. Um, that would also keep like rodents away, keep insects away, because back then they housekeeping was not, you know, paramount in houses. They had straw on the floor, and because a lot of times they had animals living with them
Mm-hmm.
inside the house. Like, don't think that you had this neat little barn outside that had, all of your chickens, all of your pigs, the horses, the goats, whatever. A lot of the times they stayed inside with you
Yep.
in the same living space.
Yep.
So, yeah. So there was a lot of straw that was put down on that floor. And let's just say the straw didn't get cleaned very often.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, they would just throw more straw on top of it.
Oh.
Hey, I'm just being honest.
I know. I just, oh, I
There's
couldn't
the
even
Discovery
imagine.
Channel. It's there. Um, this would also be a good time during the winter solstice to unpack and do burnings, do traditional burnings, or do ritualistic burnings. You've heard of me talk about burnings before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me talk about, for those of you who this is the first time you're seeing our mugs here. Welcome, number one. Number two, we talk about a lot of strange things. Um, when I talk about burnings, I talk about getting rid of that which no longer serves you. Each full moon or each cycle of the moon, you can do it on a new moon too, but it doesn't have the same effect. It does, but it doesn't. Um, is an opportunity to get rid of that which no longer serves you. We talk about shedding ourselves in cycles. Okay. And it is, because it is the winter solstice, it is a time of reflection. Pardon me, a time to look inward to yourself and ways to better yourself as a human being, better yourself as a vibrational being, raise your vibration. And this would be a good time to do burnings. And when I say ritualistic burnings, no, if this is your first time to Pagan 101, hi, welcome. Um, just saying. I am not talking about human sacrifice. Please let's not go there with the human sacrifice.
There's no sacrificing.
There is no human sacrifice. Well, there was with Norse pagans, but that was like, we're talking so many eons and centuries ago. Just calm your tatas. Um, so we talk about burnings, we talk about burning intentions. So many of us have fire pits outside nowadays. Everybody's got a fire pit, they've got a barbecue, they've got a grill, um, that they have access to. Unless you live in an apartment or you are afraid of fire, like setting things on fire, which I will get to in a minute. Funny story coming. Incoming. Um, we talk about going to the dollar store and getting yourself a copybook or getting loose leaf paper, anything that you have to write on. During these months of we should be looking at ways to better ourselves as a human being. This is the time where you can do a lot of good with shadow work, which means confronting the dark side of yourself that you don't like people to see. Sometimes you don't even like it. And it's time to start admitting things that you did that weren't so nice. And what you're going to do is you're going to write a strongly worded letter to yourself. This is about you. You can do ritualistic burnings about trauma if they involve someone else, cutting ties with someone that you've outgrown, or someone who's been vicious towards you or spiteful towards you. That's another time. That's for another time. What we're talking about is ourselves, because this is ritualistic and for the winter solstice. We're talking about looking inward towards ourselves. Write a strongly worded letter to yourself. Things that you don't like about yourself. Actions that you've done that you are not proud about. Things that you might have done differently, or things that you're not proud of, that you're ashamed of, that now that you're stepped back from that situation and that situation is over, you're looking at it again with clearer eyes. Sometimes this is a time to forgive and forget. If you have that family member that you just want to bury the freaking hatchet, that, everybody got family members that they don't want to talk to, they don't want to speak to, that, every time they see them, whether it be at a wedding, a funeral, immediately their brain goes throat punch, Rock,
Blood
paper, scissors,
pressure
throw
just
punch.
boils.
Yeah, it hovers right here. Um, Time to get rid of that. That's not serving you a purpose, and it's not serving that person a purpose, because I guarantee you that person that irritates the shit out of you uh probably has already forgotten about it, isn't worth the amount of herbs to do a hex on or a curse on, and frankly is not worth your energy anymore. Okay, why are you holding on to that? Why are you holding on to that? You said it irritates you. It's probably the reason you got a stomach ulcer. Because in fact, if you have to see that person more often than not, you're raging all the time, and you probably got a stomach ulcer because of that. You write these things down. Don't don't care about punctuation. Don't care about spelling, sentences, anything. Just write it down. If you want to yell, yell in capital letters. Draw pictures. I don't care. Once you've exhausted that, right, and you feel as though that you've poured everything or regurgitated everything that's happened in this past year to you, whether you were the target or you were the targeter of said situation. Yeah, because a lot of people, they only want to write down things that hurt them.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the times when you were a petty princess, okay? Because we all have the propensity to be petty. Some of us are queens of the petty, you know?
We sprinkle it like confetti.
You're going to sprinkle it like confetti. That's right. Sprinkle it like confetti. You're going to take those pages. You're going to go outside. You're going to build yourself a fire pit, or you're going to start your charcoal grill or your gas grill. Even if you don't have a grill, as long as it's a fire safe pot, please, for the love of all the gods and goddesses that are holy, do it safely, please. I do not want to hear fire trucks or ambulances, wambulances coming to your house because you've done burned yourself up because you were dumb. Okay, get yourself a cocktail. Make yourself a cocktail if you don't drink. I don't know, water, apple juice, soda, hot chocolate, whatever makes you coffee, whatever makes you feel comfortable.
Hot tea.
Hot tea is another thing. You know me, I always love my tea.
Oh, I love my tea.
Tonight I'm drinking kombucha, which is a tea, actually, to be totally honest. You're gonna, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna crumple them up, right? Now, this is where your energy comes into play. Don't hold anything back. You're going to crumple up those pages in front of that roaring fire safe pot, whatever you got. You are going to take those crumpled up pages. You are going to whisper to them, because remember, spells involve some form of incantation or reciting of something. Your intentions. And remember, when we speak, that is energy that is leaving our body. Okay? You can't take this back, because once you speak it out into the universe, it's just out there. Hi, Hexy. I say her. Hi, Hexy. She's looking at me like, woman, where's that voice coming from? Any hoodles.
Trying to figure out why I have the window open. It's hot.
You are going to speak into it and tell it that you are now getting rid of all that no longer serves you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting rid of all of my bad feelings, all of my grudges, all of my bad habits, my thoughts, my intentions, my energies that may have not been so good.
Mm-hmm.
I am giving myself grace. I am giving myself space. I am surrendering and I am releasing myself from the weight that is not mine and the weight that is mine. You served me well. I have learned my lesson. But I'm done. I am releasing you to bring in the good light and to change my ways.
Mm-hmm.
Once you've whispered that into that paper, I know it's long, and it didn't have to rhyme. The only reason they made it sing songy and rhyme was because it was easier for you to retain. You can think of ish on the spot, yell at it, get mad at it, say it, whatever you want into the paper. Make sure it goes into the paper.
Mm-hmm.
You toss that paper into the fire pit, your barbecue grill, or you set it on fire and put it in your fire safe pot that I know everybody has. Remember this. Only you can prevent forest fires, said Smokey the Bear. So once you watch that, you're going to watch it. Okay. And you're going to watch that smoke go up into the air. And you're going to visualize that's everything bad that happened to you or that you did for this entire year. Going up and out into the universe and is now the universe's issue.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're releasing it from yourself. Then comes the fun part. You get to do a little dance. Right? Spell's not over yet. You're going to stand there with arms open and you are going to take 3 deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth 3 times. Some people choose to scream at this point because they're so angry. Some people will cry. That is okay. That is Native Americans' way of saying that the soul, that the human body is washing the soul clean, is by crying. There's no shame in crying, honey pie. There is none. Even to the men, there is no, I don't understand why men can't cry. They think they're sissy. No. Let it out. Better out than in.
Yep.
And release. And you will see how much better you feel. Now it's time for the clean slate to start all over again.
Yep.
And be more mindful of who you were and who you are now from this point on. All right. Funny story about what you can do if you don't like to set things on fire or if you're afraid of fire. Did you know that a paper shredder works just as well?
I wouldn't have thought of a paper shredder. I mean, I don't have any issues with fire, so I throw mine in the fire.
Right.
But I wouldn't have thought to use a paper shredder.
Phobia. So there are some people who just don't like to burn things because they're afraid. They're afraid of it. Whether something happened to them or, they just grew up in a household that instilled fear in fire. All right. Paper shredder. You know what you do with those shredded papers then? Take them out to the garbage and say, I'm done. Boom. Throw them in the garbage and slam the lid down and be done with it. I had a question, and I don't know if you all know Carrie Hopper. Carrie Hopper is a dear friend of mine. She has a podcast tonight. They're actually doing remote viewing as we speak, as we're on. I couldn't participate tonight because I'm here. She has a podcast called Well, That Was Weird that she does with her friend Erin Bush. All right. Carrie asked me a question when they were putting I think it was their Halloween episodes together. When she had asked everyone that was in their regular chat to submit their own spells that they do, um, whatever they have, whether it be candle magic. I submitted a few, and a lot of people submitted some really good ones. I think it was the day after, the day before it went on air. She asked me, "What do we do if we have someone?" You talked about doing ritualistic burnings, and we talk about it a lot on our show. I know that Erin has talked about it several times, doing ritualistic burnings.
Mm-hmm.
She said, "What do we do if someone is afraid of fire? How do you get them to do a burning, but not a burning without fire?" And I said, "Paper shredder, pair of scissors, a pair of scissors. I don't care if you make snow angels out of it. You remember when we were kids and we made snowflakes? You take a
Mm-hmm.
piece of paper and you fold it, and then you keep cutting.
Yeah.
It's, hey, look, I made a snowflake. You can do it with scissors. You can do it with scissors." And she texted me back and went, "Huh, I never thought about that." And I said, "Yeah, no one says that there has to be fire involved. I mean, it's one of the elements, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, you're already using an element. You're using paper, which paper comes from trees, which would be the earth element. You're
Mm-hmm.
just adding fire to it, you know. And if you douse it out with water, that's adding another element to it. And yourself, you are an element. Your spirit is an element.
Mm-hmm.
So you're adding yourself into that. The only thing that would be missing is the air, and I guess it is all the elements because you're outside. Air
Mm-hmm.
is outside.
Air
So
helps with fire.
you're doing the pentagram, honey. Earth, air, fire, water,
Mm-hmm.
and your spirit. Those are technically 5 elements. 5. Um, that's a good way of ending the year.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we should all do that at the end of the year. I do it at every winter solstice, and I think it's a good thing for everybody to do.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of, clears the air of old shite that, what, you have no business carrying anymore. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
are you seriously gonna carry that grudge that you got into a fight in January at the company New Year's Eve party with a coworker? It is now December. You've carried or harbored that for 12 months, right? Stupid. Why? It's not doing you any good.
No, it just causes weight on your shoulders.
It does. Causes migraine headaches, stomach problems, anxiety issues. Get rid of it. Get rid of it all. This
Yeah.
is a great way to cleanse yourself. And you know what? Before Christmas is a good way to donate. Go to your Goodwill. Get into your closets. All the clothes that don't fit you anymore that you keep saying, "Oh, I'm going to get rid of those eventually," and they never get gone.
Mm-hmm.
Dishes that you don't use anymore. Uh, if you're a girly girl and you got those 16 purses in your closet that you don't use anymore, Goodwill.
Yeah.
Goodwill. It would be repurposing and benefiting somebody else that may not be as lucky as you,
Mm-hmm.
but you're also getting rid of old stagnant stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, I told you over the weekend I got rid of 2 bags of stuff
Yeah.
and I donated that out, and I would have done more. I just didn't have time to dig through everything, but that is definitely coming because there's just
Mm-hmm.
I got clothes in my closet that I don't know. It could have been years ago that I last wore it, and it's just no point in it being there anymore.
I'll watch it later. I have some work to do. Oh, Sherry, thank you. Sherry Roberts was in the chat 2 minutes ago. She'll go back and watch this. She has such odd work hours. She's always flitting around doing something. She'll be back into the chat or watching it later. But those are all good winter solstice things to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, bury the hatchet on some old shite that just, it amazes me how many grudges people carry of things that happened, you know, 5 years ago, 2 years ago, let alone like 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I have family members that can hold a damn grudge, and let me tell you, they're just satisfied with not speaking to someone for 25, 30 years. For what?
Mm-hmm.
And their family members, for what?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I can hold a grudge, and I have. Let me tell you. But at the same time, I can also put it away. Doesn't mean it's gone. Like I tell everybody, it's in the vault. I'll never forget.
Right.
But I mean, I have a civil conversation with you and, you know, be normal. But yeah.
Those are all good things to do when it comes to winter solstice and remembering, because the winter solstice is, heck, that's not even, what is it, 2 weeks away? Today's the 8th. So yeah, that's 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
You got 2 weeks to prepare, people. And the winter solstice will be here. And again, it is called the darkest night or the longest night, because it actually is one of the longest nights in the calendar. It seems like the dark is for forever on that night.
And it already feels like that.
Very cold, and it's very cold outside. So bundle up if you're going to do some ritualistic burnings for the end of the year or before the end of the year. And New Year's is the start of looking outward and saying blessings for a good new year, a good spring. Making sure that, and well, this goes way back to the pagan times, or way back centuries ago, where they would say blessings for a good harvest, good planting. May the days be long, may they be sunny, may we get enough rain. I hope it doesn't rain all the time. May the soil be good for planting. May our animals have lots of babies. May be warm outside all the time. Those are good intentions. That's when we look outward, because the year we've hit that precipice of that year, and we've gone over like lemmings, gone off the cliff onto a new year. And we all do that. That's guess what you just did? Something pagan. You made a New Year's resolution. Look at that. That's another pagan thing. Huzzah! Look at that. New Year's resolution. Just throwing crap around. New Year's resolution. Look at that. Woohoo! New Year's resolution. Woohoo! I feel like Homer Simpson. Woo! New Year's resolutions. They are paganistic as well. Making a resolve in order to make yourself a new person. So think about those things.
Yep.
Do you have traditions in your family that you do at Christmas?
I mean, the only tradition that we really do, I mean, we put the tree up, we decorate. Christmas Eve, we'll let the kids open one small gift. We haven't done that though in the last couple of years. Sam moved out, so she's not here anymore. So it's just Jace, and Jace is just kind of like, I'll open them tomorrow. So we don't have that anymore. but other than that, it's just, waking up, opening the gifts, and then visiting, my parents' house and
Yeah.
exchanging gifts. And that's it. We really don't have any specific traditions or anything like that other than that little gift giving at Christmas Eve.
Hmm. Now we had one in my family. We got away from it for a little bit because us as the grandchildren, I'm the oldest out of all the grandchildren. Um, and I was the first married, the first one to have babies. So we kind of got away from it for a while, but then once the other grandkids started getting married and having babies, we brought it back. We do because I grew up in an Italian household, not negating any of my Scottish or my Irish heritage, because that's in there. Um, I don't know. Maybe I'll start a menorah because I am 1% Ashkenazi Jew. L'chaim. I am. It is. I don't know how. Where you ever get one of those 23andMe's do the test
I
from back?
actually have told them I asked for that this year for Christmas.
Did you?
Yes, because I actually was looking up like my like maiden last name and then my mom's maiden last name and my grandmother's, and I was pulling them all out and just trying to see like where those names like originated from. And I got, Ireland, Scottish, German, Welsh, Celtic. I mean, I know I'm Cherokee Indian.
Yeah.
So like just going through all the names and like where they originated from, Europe, Spain, like all different types of places.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I was like, I want to know. I want to know exactly what percentages I have of what, so I can, start studying my background a little bit more, because that just, I mean, I could be anything and I don't know. And especially with like one of the names came from like Europe and like Spain and Portugal. And I'm
Hmm.
like, I could have Spanish, Latin descent in me. I don't know.
You
But
could.
I want to do that and find out.
You could. I think that's a great thing for everybody to do. If you're interested in learning about your culture, where you come from, and wanting to be part of that culture or start celebrating parts of that culture, getting a 23andMe or a DNA test is a great thing. Excuse me. Now, what I did, which was a great thing, not a sponsor, Genome Link, which is not a sponsor. I have to keep saying that, not a sponsor. Um, but if you want, you could anyway. Anywho, um, it's called Genome Link, and what they do is they take the DNA from that test that you took. Um, you upload your DNA, what you got back from like ancestry.com or whatever, and they go one step further. They will tell you in what country, in what province from that country, how you migrated from that country, and how you got to where you are now. And they'll go even little by city. And it was interesting because they keep updating. Now I did mine probably about a year and a half ago. I took my ancestry.com that I got and I transferred it over to the Genome Link. And they keep updating. So they keep running your DNA to see if they can go further with your DNA. And they'll give you an update. They'll send you an email, say, "Hey, we've got an update in your DNA. Here's the link. Take a look." And this year, a couple months ago, I was it 2 months ago? I think it was about 2 months ago. I actually found out. Now I'm mostly Scottish. I think I'm like I am like 60% Scottish. There's Irish in there. Um, and there's a little bit of Italian in there. And I found that 1%. When you get it back, don't be surprised. You'll get back the report. They'll send you a paper report and print it out.
Mm-hmm.
I got that 1% Ashkenazi Joe, and I'm like, Where the hell did that come from? What? Where's that at? I have no idea. What is this? You'll be surprised because there'll be that 1% or that 2% that shows up. About a month and a half ago, I got another hit. They sent me an email stating that they actually found what county from Ireland I'm from, which is Donegal.
Very nice.
I've never been to Ireland, so I don't know whether that's Northern Ireland or Southern Ireland. I have no idea. Best person to ask would be Jim. So, bro, I'm going to be texting you, asking you that because you go to Ireland every year, every 2 years.
Oh, yeah, it's on my bucket list.
Help me out with that. But I'm from the county of Donegal, and they'll show you pictures of the places that you're from. I knew about my Scottish heritage. They showed me where my uncle lives. That was very familiar. When they showed me the picture, I was like, oh, I know where that is. Yep. Seen all that. Beautiful. And then it came up that I was like 2% from the Netherlands. I'm like, so now I'm Dutch on top of it. I'm Dutch. And listen, I couldn't even pronounce the name of this county that it was from. It had like 62 letters in it. Some of them were doubled, hardly any vowels in it. And it was like this big. I'm like, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to pronounce that. But I found out that I am part Dutch as well. I mean, it's 2% or 3% or something like that. My Italian, 5%. That's it.
5%.
5. And my mother said, what do you mean 5%? I'm half Italian. I said, your genes were weak, honey. Your genes were weak. What can I say? The genes were weak,
Now, here's something that I was told was when you do your DNA tests, whether it's Ancestry or 23andMe, that if you have Native American in you, that it does not show up. Is that true?
Not from Genome Link's perspective. Genome Link will even subcategorize that. They'll say Native American, but then they'll subcategorize that and say indigenous. And that indigenous can be South Pacific, Central Asia, Southwest Asian, parts of indigenous would be Africa, Peru, Colombia, that are actually dated back to the actual indigenous like people in Peru, like Machu Picchu, Peru kind of things. They have a section for Native American. They do. And they will pull out whether it is Cherokee, Blackfoot, Yavapai, Mojave, Choctaw, Cree, Lakota, and it'll tell you, and it has a map of the United States, and it will have where you are, and like a little dot that says you are here, and said that your native ancestors came from here in like North Dakota at one point. If you're Lakota, you came from like the Midwest, like Kansas, Missouri, places like that, and they'll actually point to it, and they'll dig it out even further. So I don't know as far as ancestry.com, because once Genome Link became available, I tossed all of my stuff to Genome Link. So ancestry.com, the only thing it has is my family tree that I've been working on for, it seems like centuries, and still have no hits to anyone other than my immediate family that I already know. So I would take that once you get it, if you get it for Christmas, to take that, and when you get it back, send that information to Genome Link.
Okay.
It's free. It's actually free. You can buy a subscription to that, and they'll break it down and give you more things because you're paying them. You have a subscription, but I mean, I've had no problem with the free stuff. And it also goes into your DNA, like your predisposition to have Alzheimer's, or your predisposition to have Rh negative blood, uh, allergies. You got your allergies from this person, that person in your family, all kinds of crazy stuff. But this is when we talk about traditions, sometimes this is a way for you to start a new tradition. Maybe if you find out, where exactly your native ancestors are from, which actual part. Do you know that if you're Cherokee or if you're Lakota?
I'm Cherokee.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you do the 23andMe, I don't know. Maybe if it finds out that you're from Iceland, look up Iceland and see what they do for Christmas, and add that one specific thing in for Christmas. Like I think in the Netherlands is where they do the Santa Lucia festival, where they have the little girls and little boys dress up in like angel robes, and they put wreaths in their hair, and they actually have actual candles on top of their head, and they walk around and they do caroling in the neighborhood. And when it's cold, and when they carol, a lot of people will bring them inside and bring like cookies for them, or make cookies for them, and they'll sing a couple songs and get cookies and treats and whatever, and then it's time to move on to the next house. It's called the Santa Lucia Festival.
That's cute.
So yeah, I mean, look, if you're German, hide a pickle in the tree. Get a glass pickle.
Yeah,
Have you
I'm
heard the
definitely
story about
gonna.
the pickle?
No, I never heard about the pickle.
The Germans, they put a pickle in the tree. A glass pickle, like it's a pickle ornament. You can get them at Hobby Lobby. You can get them anywhere at Christmas time. You buy one extra gift and you wrap it. You don't put it under the tree. You don't give it a name. You don't put a tag on it. You put it somewhere, right? This would have been great if you had like little kids, but even for adults, it's just as much fun. I mean, you hide the pickle in the tree somewhere and you make it a game. It's a nondescript gift. You can even invite family and friends over and say, the first one to find the pickle gets a gift. And that's that extra gift.
That could be dangerous in my house because I could see the tree going down.
Especially with Bruce, man. He'd be tackling that tree, man.
My mom actually started it. I want to say, was it like 2 years ago, 3? And how it started was my mom, she buys gifts, she wraps them, and then she hides them or whatnot, or she buys them and before she wraps them, she hides them, whatever. But she forgets. And one year we came over and we were all there for Christmas and we all exchanged our gifts and everything. And then afterwards, she's like, I need everybody, well, all the girls, she took all of us girls into the living room, and there was a line of Christmas presents across the floor.
Oh,
and we're like looking at it and we're looking and we're like, what is this? And she was like, well, this are Christmas presents from last year that I didn't put names on, and I have no idea what any of it is. And she was like, so she goes, I'm just going to count to 5. And she goes, and you guys can fight over it. And so she counted and we all went in and we were snatching them.
Oh my God.
So then last year she did it again. But she played like a little game with it, and that was pretty cute. So all due to, my mom's memory not being the best anymore. That's how we came up with that.
Oh geez. Well, you know what? What's that one game that they play at Christmas where they take a whole roll of saran wrap and and they put little tchotchkes in it, like candy or whatever in it, and they roll it up into this gigantic ball. And I guess, how do they do it? They're put on a timer or something, and you have to try and unravel it, but you've got oven mitts on. And
I've never seen that one.
if you can't unravel it fast enough within the allotted time, it has to go to the next person. There's something like that. There's also a gift, like in boxes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's one for each person, right? But there's one with a really expensive, like the golden goose of gifts.
I have seen kind of games like that. They've
Where
been
they say a
shown.
word or something, and they have to, they have to recite a poem, and it has left and right in it, the words left and right, and it has to be like 5 minutes long at least. And whenever the word left is in in where they recite the word left, you have to give the gift to the left. You have to take the gift in front of you and push it to the left, to the next person. It's all these weird Christmas games. It's hard to explain.
Yeah, it's kind of like White Elephant. We do that at work every year. But another thing that I had just seen, I was actually telling my mom and them about it on Thanksgiving that I thought was cute for all of us to do, was you take a roll of toilet paper and you sit it down, and you take different colored like bows that you would put on the packages, and you connect it to a piece of string, and then you bring the string up through the toilet paper, and then you drape them over so you don't know which string goes to which one. And then you take like a bucket and you put prizes down and put the buckets over them, and then you put the bow on top of the buckets. And then when you pull the string, whichever one the bow is, that's the one that you flip over, and you get the gift underneath. And then they're just like tiny little gifts. Like you might get like, a box of movie theater popcorn and a thing of candy for like a movie night, or a gift card, but one gift is like a big gift, like, a $50 bill or something like that. And that was really cute. And I thought, I was telling them, I think I might want to do that this year for Christmas.
I've seen someone do that. The person's on YouTube, or I think it's on YouTube maybe, or TikTok, where the guy does that, and his family, the kids.
I think that's where I seen it from. There's a family that does it.
Yeah. There's a tradition in my house that we do, where I was getting off track with that one. When we were little, and now that we're all getting married and have grandkids or kids of our own, we have Santa. My aunt does the 7-fish dinner. She does the Italian 7-fish dinner. The whole family's over. That is a night that you do not miss, being at her house. And you open up my aunt's house, and it looks like the Who house, with the the card tables, the TV tables, they're all interconnecting, and they wind through the house, and it always ends up with someone in a high chair at the end of the table. One of the grandbabies is in a high chair. And we do the 7-fish dinner, but we also have Santa Claus come. And Santa Claus brings one gift to each one of the children to tide them over for the next day. Because they're all antsy. They want to get home. They want to go to sleep. I want to open up my presents. Da da da. So we curb that by getting Santa to come and actually give each child a gift. So they get to sit on Santa's lap. Mrs. Claus shows up. She has an elf with her. He may read a story. Depends on what how long he has. He hears what they want for Christmas. Get on his lap. They give him their Christmas list and pictures. He's there for probably, I would say, about an hour, and then he goes back to the North Pole. And the kids get all excited. We're like, oh, you have to, you have to finish your bowl of spaghetti if you want Santa to come. If you want Santa to show up. So that has been a tradition. And it was funny because I don't think we have any small children watching this, but anywho, yes, Hexy, I know, girl. There is someone who was Santa for a very long time, and he was my first Santa. I think I was about 4, maybe 3 or 4 years old when we started doing this tradition of Santa coming to the house. And I never knew what this person looked like. I only voice. As I got older, I learned that his name was Willie, and he was the best Santa. I mean, energetic and just crazy. And his wife would come and hang out with us. Probably about 35 years, not 35 years ago. I'll say about 25 years ago, 20 years ago. I was in line at the grocery store here at my local grocery store. And there was a gentleman in front of me. And the gentleman in front of me, the man said something. And I immediately, it was him.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of saying his name, I went, Santa? Here I am, a grown-ass woman in the grocery store going, Santa?
But that's how
He looked at me, he turned around, and he recognized me. And he went, oh my God. He gave me the biggest hug ever. And he was our Santa for a very long time. So he is very elderly right now. he's probably in his 90s, maybe. I do know that he's still around. He's still alive. So Willie, Merry Christmas. But and to be an adult and then to be tossed in tears in a grocery line over someone saying, do you need exact change? And I'm like, oh my God, it's Santa. It's Santa. And as soon as he turned around and I saw his eyes, that was it. That was it. Here I am, a grown-ass woman, bawling in the middle of the Acme.
Yeah.
Because I saw Santa, or I heard Santa, which was great. Memories. Such good memories. Tim says Santa never forgets. And he said, I believe everyone needs to know where they come from. Very true. Absolutely very true. Tim said that he does Christmas Eve gifts. These are all traditions.
Yeah.
And, they are paganistic in practice. We can even do maybe next time we're on air, do you want to actually work along and we can do some magic?
Yeah.
That sounds good. I will give, what does everybody say to giving a if I give you guys a list of things to get, do you want to do it together? We could do it together.
Yeah.
And you can tell me, you can show me how much you've been practicing, ma'am. How much you've been practicing on your witchiness. How about we do you want to do knot spells? Knot spells are really easy.
Yeah, we can. I've never done it.
And we can do knot magic, or we can do candle magic. Kind of gets into a lot of stuff because then you're talking about colors, which naturally you actually don't need colors because back then they didn't have colors. Candle magic is one of the oldest magics around. next to not magic. We could do ladders. We could do a witch's ladder. That would be kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
So what say ye, group? I think we should. Let's start off by doing not magic.
Okay.
Because it's easy, because you only need a piece of string. That's it.
Piece of string. I got string.
A piece of string or a piece of yarn. Like if you know somebody who likes to crochet, this is a piece of yarn.
I got yarn too.
Yarn, yeah, do a piece of yarn because you want something probably about yay thick. That way you can actually see the knots that you're doing. And it's easy. I mean, everybody has a piece of string laying around their house somewhere that they could use. And we will talk about doing some magic spells. I thought that would be nice since we haven't really done anything witchy lately.
Yeah.
I think we just need to start getting back into the witchy witches.
You and I must be on the same wavelength because when I was thinking earlier, like, what are we gonna do and talk tonight about? And I kept thinking along the lines of like witches and magic and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I just, like I said, I was so busy today. I was like, there was no time to like research nothing.
You know what? We've been this way too. I mean, between you know, having time off and then we're in the middle of a move where I work. Mm-hmm. You're overloaded with work. So it's kind of difficult for us to come up with stuff sometimes. Unless we have like a monthly powwow and we sit down and we're like, this is what we're going to do for this show, and this show. Yeah. It's, you know, it's really hard. And my thing is I'm dead set against teaching people baneful magic. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Because then we get into a whole bunch of logistics here. And then I'm getting called. Or you're getting called. We don't want to get called. Nobody wants to get a phone call. Okay. No phone calls. So we're not doing baneful magic. So we can always sit down and chat at a time when you have free time. Mm-hmm. And go over some stuff. I will tell you that this one person that no, Uber. Oh, I got something from Uber on my phone. Hey, Uber. All of a sudden Uber pops up. I did tell you at the top of the show someone is coming into my field. Mm-hmm. And there is someone here. I have two people here. Both of them are male. Jen, one is for you. And I think you know who this person is. I don't want you to get upset or on air, so we may discuss this at another time. And the other one is Tim, our producer, and he always has somebody popping up into my field of vision. And if he wants to come on here for the next, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, that would be greatly appreciated, Mr. Hopper. Cat, you want to come on here? Why is Popcorn here?
Didn't he talk to us last time?
Yeah, he's been here several times. Why is Popcorn Sutton all of a sudden in my ear? Look, he ain't paying. Let's hope it. Oh, here he comes. Why is Popcorn Sutton in my ear?
Well, now that's a personal question you're going to ask Popcorn. I didn't have no communication with him. He wasn't the one that knocked on my door. He's knocking on your door.
This is he's worried about you.
What's he worried about me for?
He said that boy ain't acting right. What's wrong with him? He's being quiet.
I'm
That's
always
not the one
quiet.
I know.
You know, quiet people are dangerous. You know that.
Yeah, I do know quiet people are dangerous. He said quiet people are dead too.
Apparently not. You making a scene. You knocking on Buffy's door.
He's always knocking on my damn door. Always knocking on my damn door. And then I got Jen someone over here going, who the hell is this? Who the hell is this?
Now he should know who it is. He watched the show enough.
I know he knows. He's like, why is he here? Good Lord. Why is he worried about you though? He seems to be worried. He's like flustered. He's like, something ain't right. Something ain't right.
You know about people. I mean, you know, sometimes we have to have our moments, right?
Yes,
Our
yes,
silent moments.
yes.
Yeah.
And I keep telling him he's allowed to have a moment.
That's exactly right.
He's allowed to have a moment. He said, that's more than just a moment. That's more than just a moment.
I'm fine, sir. I'm good.
Okay. He's still talking about that truck that you saw. Have you seen it again?
I have.
Uh-huh.
I have seen that truck again.
And he's using foul language too. He said, nobody effed up that truck of mine, did they?
No, that damn truck, speaking of Christmas trees, that truck got a Christmas tree in that.
He said, I know what that
meant. In the back end of it.
He said that's what he's happy about though. He was a lover of like the holidays, like Christmas.
Yeah.
Was he a lover of Christmas?
Yeah.
Like for the family, it was all about family.
Yeah.
To him.
Yeah.
And he said, I loved every damn one of y'all. Y'all were family.
And of course we were. We were
all family. He is referring to my goodness, are you having a heat stroke, ma'am? You're over there waving a card around. Are you okay?
It's just a hot flash.
Okay.
Popcorn does that to people.
There. I thought she was fanning herself. She's fanning herself like she's in church.
Woo.
Yeah, popcorn does.
I could feel like my heat kept rising, and I'm like, I was like, I'm gonna get through this. And then I was like, no, I'm not gonna get through this. I take my sweatshirt off.
Yeah. Popcorn said what? Tim?
I said popcorn does that to people. He makes them hot.
He's laughing because oh God, he's talking about making them hot in other ways, women. Ain't just the alcohol. Wasn't just the white lightning. He said I was a looker back then. He is happy that someone is taking care of his truck.
They are.
And he is happy that they are within your vicinity.
That truck came here for a reason.
He said, I know, I brought it here. I brought it there.
I agree with you 100%.
He said, now, here, tell if you had stayed where you were, he said, that truck would have been yours. He said, but I understand people move and people change, and you know what I mean? He is happy that it has a Christmas tree in the back of it. There are things he wishes to discuss, but not on air with you. There are personal things at another time. And he wants you to, he said, remember she just talked about a burning or releasing that which no longer serves you, sir? You'll need to release some stuff. Get it out. Get that ish out of here.
So you mean I got to go dig up them people on the other side of that log?
Yes. He said, I don't care what it takes for you to do it. He said, you were on cantankerous anyway. He said, we listen. He said, whatever it takes, where you came from, you know what that means. whatever it takes. For you, ma'am, Miss Jen, it's your dad.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, how come somebody had to show you or talk to you about the signs that were there? The music in the car, the radio in the car, something about the radio in the car.
Radio in the car.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I remember that, Jen.
When his ringtone played?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody had to talk to me about it. Like,
And then there was something that was in the car, something about the car. Whether it was the music in the car or you caught vision of him in the back seat through the window.
I seen something out of the corner of my eye in the passenger seat.
Uh-huh. That was your dad.
So, and I thought it was, I see it every now and then, and and his song will come on, and
What
but
did I just say about the radio in the car?
yeah, like it comes on from time to time, and when it does, I just I say, you know what, that's him, and that's his way
Yep.
of saying, I'm here, and so yeah, it happens a lot.
He's saying that he always did believe in this. I guess he's talking about spirits stuff.
Oh, I know he did because Jenny scared him quite a few times.
Well, he said there were a lot of times where he had to play it off because he was worried about you girls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we would go out and to do whatever, and we'd come back, and he, more times than not, he would be down at the bottom of the yard, at the back of the yard in his shed. And we didn't think nothing of it at the time because he would hang out in there and do whatever guys do in the shed. And it wasn't until we got older that it started to come out. He would be at the house when we weren't there, and I think there was one time it sounded like someone came in the side door, and he said he was waiting for one of us to come around the corner, and nobody was there, nobody was in the house.
Yeah.
So that was the one time. And then he said there'd be other times he'd be sitting in there in the living room and he would hear the toilet flush and stuff going on in the bathroom, like somebody was in there when he knew he was home by himself.
That was Jenny.
Mm-hmm. And it would freak him out, or he'd hear somebody, what sounded like somebody walking down the hallway, and nobody was home but him. And what else happened? Trying to think. Oh, there was one story I heard. It was pretty funny. Sorry, Dad. He was getting a shower one night, and he said he bent over to turn the water or grab something, and he said he felt a finger touch the back of his neck, and then it just felt like somebody took that finger and just started going down his spine.
Right.
And he said he jumped up real quick and he said, that's a little too personal. Because you need to be out.
Yep.
So I don't know, but he did have things happen to him, and I know it. There more happened while we weren't there. I don't know if it was worse than that, but I mean,
you said it was worse than that.
Experiences, and I've had some doozies, and I'll tell you, like, I mean, she can definitely show herself when she wants to.
Yep. Did he say something about being held down at night? Like couldn't get up, like almost like a sleep paralysis kind of thing?
I don't know.
He's referring to the sleep paralysis thing.
I don't know if that happened to him, but it did happen to me. It happened to, I believe, Joanne. It happened to her but I know it happened to her friends. She would have friends spend the night, and it would happen to her friends. And that's when my dad had talked to my mom, and he was like, I really don't feel comfortable with that happening here in the house, because the last thing I want is for a kid to go home and say something to their parents.
Right.
And then the parents start thinking that, somebody in the house was doing something and they came up with this odd story or whatever. So
Right.
it did make him feel uncomfortable, but whether it happened to him, I don't know. But yeah, it definitely happened to me. And a lot of stuff happened in the house. It's crazy.
Tim just said the old hag syndrome, and that's it. But that's not the old hag. That's Jenny.
And I know it was Jenny the night it happened to me, because I was trying to help her. I could hear her some nights walking up and down the hallway. And that was the first time that I had seen her. I could hear her walking up and down the hallway, and I just kept watching through the wall because I could hear her. And I remember following back up from the kitchen towards where the bedrooms were, and she stopped right outside my door. And I felt the fear at that point. I said, oh my gosh. I was like, she knows I'm awake and I can hear her. And next thing I know, my door opened about that much, and she popped her head in there and looked at me, and I'll never forget that night. And then the night that she got me, and I was held down, I was actually repeating something that I had heard, trying to help her cross over. I was like, you don't belong here, go towards the light. Something that I had seen earlier that day on a show I was watching. And I think I made her mad. I don't think she was ready to leave. And the next thing I know, it just felt like this huge rushing feeling, like something, like, even if it, I guess you could explain, like almost like I don't know, almost like a strong wind, like just straight through the center of my chest. And at the same time, in my ears, it sounded like just people whispering, and it was just a bunch of like, and I was stuck there. And I remember I was like looking around, and Sam was just little then, and I was like, I don't want to scream for anybody because I didn't want to wake her up. And then after, like, I don't even know how long it was, but it was long enough that it had me worried, that I decided, I apologize, I'm going to have to scream. Somebody has to come in this room. And I went to open my mouth to scream, and nothing came out. I couldn't move any part of my body. The only thing I could move was my head from side to side. And I remember I could look over and I could see Sam, and I was just stuck. And then finally, after, I don't know how, it had to be several minutes, it started to dissipate, and the whispers got softer, and then all of a sudden it just stopped. And I remember I sat straight up in bed, and I didn't even know what to do. I was like, I don't know if I could wake somebody up. I don't know if I should go back to sleep. But I mean, I'll never forget that night.
I'm sorry. I'm just trying. Listen, my autocorrect, here's the thing. This is what happens when Spirit walks into the damn room. I have been trying to type to Tim. Tim said, who is Jenny? And my response was, it's the lady who died in Jen's mom's house. Autocorrect changed it to the lady that died in Jen's mom's Ocean City Screams haunted house.
That's not right.
Twice. None of that is correct.
Well, I'm trying to Google the Screams haunted house. I'm trying to see what's in
Yes, I can. Delete it. Delete it like 3 times. Jesus, delete it. So if you are unfamiliar with Jenny, Tim, I'll tell you, Jenny is the woman who died in Jen's mom and dad's house. The one that I've been to several times. I will let you know that your dad is saying that he protected or tried to protect all of you at the same time by getting the brunt of Jenny, most of Jenny. And when he passed and came back to the house, the first person he saw was Jenny.
I'm sure.
And he pointed his finger at her and said, don't you touch my blah blah bleepity bleep wife. Let's make it very known that you were not to touch her.
I was wondering how those two were getting along.
Not, and they don't like each other very much. He keeps an eye on her and wants her to back off. And she's done a very good job. She pays attention. She understands the point that he comes with. All right. So I don't think your mom has experienced much of anything. If
She hasn't.
anything in the house.
We were actually talking about it, and she has experienced some things, but she is saying it's my dad. She said they were sitting there in the den one night, and she heard what sounded like somebody walking down the hallway, and she said, but it was heavy-footed. And she was like, she goes, I'm pretty sure that was your dad. And she goes, and I know I wasn't hearing things because the dog's head snapped around and looked in the same direction.
Yeah, that's your dad. That's definitely your dad.
I told my mom when I was there the one day, I said, because we talk about it, and we talk about things that happen and stuff like that. And I said, and I welcome it. I was like, if he's here and he wants to do something, I would love it because it lets me know that he's here. But I did tell her, I said, I've never felt more comfortable in my parents' house than I do now. I always hated going over there because I would get this feeling in my chest, I just did not feel right there, especially in certain areas.
Yeah.
And I've never felt more comfortable in that house than I do now.
I think it's because your dad drew the line in the sand and is even protecting her from this point, from over there.
Yeah.
He's talking about touching her hand. Touching her hand. I don't know if that's something that they used to do when they were alive, hold hands, or she would touch his hand or grab his hand. She's had a couple of experiences with that, but it's him.
And she may have.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything about that. I mean,
this holiday is going to be the toughest for him. As well as it is for her.
Yeah.
I mean, he's telling me that there's a difference to enjoy Christmas and be able to give hugs and not be able to, you know what I mean? Be like a visitor kind of thing.
Yeah.
He said, please take care of your mom.
Mm-hmm.
He worries about her so much being in that house by herself.
He's not the only one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all, every time we're over there, we're always checking everything, and Versus over there.
Mm-hmm.
All the other ones are over there trying to fix things and get things taken care of, and constantly reminding her, lock the doors, Yeah. And she worries about the dog so much, and she's always like, I have to walk the dog on the leash when I take her out back. And I'm like, Mom, that dog can protect itself.
Yeah.
And given the chance if something happens, that dog's going to protect you. I was like, so don't worry about her. You let her go. And I said, she'll defend you and her. I was like, so.
And that's Ruby, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
He keeps bringing up the name Ruby.
Yep. That was his dog. And,
he said as much fuss as he put into not wanting that damn dog, he misses that damn dog.
He did. I don't think he wanted her when my mom first said, we'll bring her home.
He said, hell no.
But he did. He took into training her, and we used to have a Doberman years ago when I was real little, and that was one of the most well-trained dogs we ever had, and he trained it. And
he's referring to snapping his finger and that dog just jumping.
Mm-hmm. And he did. He trained her, and they did really well. I mean, even to, when they're giving her treats, they tell her, okay, sit, and she'll sit, and then they'll say back up, and she will literally back up and then they'll try to back up again, and she'll back up more,
Yeah.
and rolling over, playing that. I mean, they've done it all, and they did a really good job. And but yeah, he liked that dog. He fell in love with that dog, and that's how he always was. You know, he never wanted the animals when they first came home, but they ventured right to him.
Yeah. He's referring to sitting watching her sleep. Like, he's that protective to the point where he'll sit there and he'll watch her sleep. Your mom.
He probably does.
And he's saying something about the outside on Christmas Day. Like, you guys are going to get a sign, but to look outside. Look outside. He keeps referring to the outside, outside, outside. And he keeps repeating it. Okay, Bobbert.
Front or back?
He's laughing because I called him Bobbert. Bobbert. And he keeps showing me. You know what? I've never gone in through the front of your mom's house. I've always gone in through the back where the deck is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you know that one room that has the chair and it's like the bay window? Is there like a bay window?
The living room, yeah.
Yeah, the living room. He wants you to look outside that bay window. He's specifically pointing to that bay window.
Okay.
And saying, look outside. On Christmas Day. This is so odd because never have they been that specific. Like, on Christmas Day at 3:00 in the afternoon, look outside.
Don't give me
a
time.
Setting
he knows I'm fashionably late all the time.
He's laughing and saying, Jen, you'd be late to your own goddamn funeral.
Mm-hmm. I will, I'm sure.
He said, we thought it was just because you had kids. Now they're grown ass adults and you're still late to every goddamn thing.
Mm-hmm. And he has no room to talk because he was late to work every day.
He said, yeah, well, I'm old. I was old. Damn it. Yeah, that's his response. I was old, damn it. But he is referring to looking for a sign outside. Is that where when your mom, and I don't know if she's going to put up one this year because, of course, this is the first Christmas, without your dad.
Yeah, she was mentioning something about it the last time we were over there, and she was like, I just don't know if I want to do that.
Do that. Would it be in that window or at that window?
It would be right in front of it.
Okay. Because he wants me to look past I am actually standing in the living room looking out that window with the chair, right? And for some reason, the tree is not in the center where the window is. It's, how people do that. I'm sure your dad did that. And your mom did it. Was that picturesque window?
Mm-hmm.
You put the tree in the center of the window when you look outside. Oh, look how pretty.
Yeah.
It's off to the side. And if I'm looking inside the house, looking out the house, it's on the left. It's moved to the left.
There's a bush to the left of the window in front of the bathroom window. And then there's a tree to the left across from there.
Yeah, but he's referring to the Christmas tree inside the house.
Okay.
Off to the side. And he's saying, look out the window. I don't know if you're going to see a cardinal. Why does he keep bringing up birds?
Well, he likes eagles. So when we did his cards for the funeral and everything, it has a eagle soaring over mountains. Yeah. And he had a silver necklace that he wore with an eagle on it that we buried with him.
I do remember that one.
And so he does like birds. And I always see cardinals. Even before he passed, I would always say I feel like it was my grandparents, whether it was my grandmother, my grandfather, whoever. But it seemed like every time something would happen, especially like taking long trips to like Tennessee or South Carolina. One of the last trips we took when I had my nitro, we stopped, got the brakes done, tires, all that stuff before we took the trip. And halfway there, the car was just acting really, really funny. And I told Bruce, I was like, I got to pull over somewhere. I was like, and we got to find like a small shop. I was like, because I said, the car is not acting right. I said, it feels weird. So we ended up pulling off on a exit somewhere in Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
And we found a little like mechanic shop, and we pulled in and we told the guy, you know, what it was doing. And we're like, we're not sure what's going on. So he got in the car and he took it for a little spin. And I think he made it like, I don't know, 10 feet down the road. And then he made a U-turn in the middle of the road and came back. And he pulled in and he got out and he looked, and he turns around and he looks at us and he goes, "You're missing half your lug nuts on your tire." And I was like, I'm sorry, what? So apparently, I guess whoever put the tire back on didn't do it correctly. And as we were traveling, we were just losing lug nuts. And so we had to wait until they got the parts to fix it. But I remember going out and I'm sitting on the bench. So I'm like, let me call, you know, my mom and dad and let them know what's going on and where we're at. And I just happened to look up, and sitting right up on the wire at the telephone pole, just staring at me, was a cardinal. And every time I get in situations like that, there's always a cardinal.
Which would be signs that he's watching out for you.
Mm-hmm.
But this is something different. I don't know what the reference is. He's being very vague about birds, but he keeps referring to the bigger bird. I don't know whether this is a mourning dove, like size of a mourning dove. You know what a mourning dove looks like? The size of a mourning dove.
Yeah.
Or some white bird, cream-colored bird, some kind of bird is going to happen to be in the bush or in the tree outside. And it's going to be like, wow, why is that bird still standing there? Or why is that bird doing what it's doing? That's him. That's him. I don't understand it, but be careful. Christmas Day, look out the window when you get to your mom's house. When you get to your mom's house, and he said yes, he'll wait to do it because he knows that you'd be late to your own damn funeral.
I was on time for Thanksgiving, sort of.
No, you weren't.
6 minutes.
He said no, you weren't.
But it was 6 minutes. But in my defense, I brought most of the dishes.
He said that's still no excuse, Jen, but that's okay. He wants you to, you know, be patient with mom.
Yeah, we are.
He said you just got to be a little patient with her, and that he misses her every day. Oh, God awful, does he miss her every day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She does him too.
Yep. And he misses the kids. He misses you guys. That's weird because how many years was I invited to the birthday parties?
Forever.
Forever. Because he's looking at me going, I miss you too, you pain in the ass. He said, but you never stayed very long. I said, well, I always had somewhere to go. I always was on a case. I always had a case to go to.
You're a busy woman.
I'm a busy woman. I'm sorry. And your mom was so sweet. Your mom was always like, oh, do you want me to fix you a plate to take on the road? And I'm like, no, Barb. No, I'm good, hon. I can't eat.
That's how we
eat in the car and go.
Let me tell you, that's our biggest thing when you get to our house for anything.
Yep.
eat, and take some with you. And
Yeah.
And my sister Joanne, she brings her own Tupperware. She don't.
Yep. That's hilarious. I love that. I love that. And I used to love the fact that your mom would purposely put a chair next to me to talk to me. Now, you're not seeing anything here, are you? I'm like, no, Barb. What? Do you like the new room, the new deck, the new room? She would talk about the new room.
They love that room.
Yeah.
And I wish they would have done that years ago.
Yeah.
Because he always loved sitting out back underneath that awning when it was just a porch. And they slowly started, like closing it in and doing all this stuff. And I wish they would have done that years ago because they loved that room.
Yeah.
And we get out there for like our parties because it's bigger and we need more room and stuff like that. But I don't know that my mom really utilizes it too much anymore, except for to walk out back to let the dog out. And, it's a shame because I know they love that room together.
And I think it's too painful for her because it reminds her of, give her time. She will. I mean, this is still fresh. This is still new to her.
Yeah.
God, I remember watching Jordan grow up between the birthday parties and being invited to the birthday parties. And the last one I was at, she was like, listen, go inside the house, use the bathroom. But if you see Ginny, if you see that woman, tell her to get out of my house. Tell her to get out. Tell her to leave. I'm like, okay, Barb.
Oh, geez.
I'll tell her to leave. And it would be hilarious because I'd come out back from the bathroom. I'd go back and sit back down in the backyard. And she's like, so did you see anything? Did you see it? No, Barb, I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything, Barb. No.
Too funny.
No. But it was great though. He's referring to that. He's referring to looking through the window, but he'll wait for you. Something about yes, I'll wait for you. And he said, tell Bruce not to be so skeptical.
Not so skeptical.
About the bird. About what he sees outside.
On Christmas?
Yeah.
I mean, knowing Bruce, he has this, you know how he is.
Yeah, he's not skeptical, but he's good at being a debunker. He likes to debunk things. And that's different than being skeptical.
Yeah.
I mean, he knows that he saw it. He just wants to be able to figure it out to see if he can prove it scientifically.
Yeah.
And that's the sign of a good investigator, is someone who doesn't always jump to things that are out of the normal. Or paranormal. He likes to sit and marinate on it for a minute and tries to figure it out.
Which is funny because, like I said, that church he used to work in, where all that stuff happened, he finally gave in. There was no debunking anymore. Like, he just knew this is, he goes, we'd be working downstairs and you could hear the kids running upstairs in the hallway. And, and we actually, it was funny because me and him were just talking about it like maybe 3 nights ago, and we were talking about going out and doing an investigation and the equipment I have and stuff like that. And he was like, he goes, I'm really upset that you didn't have all the equipment you have when we were able to go to St. John's before it closed.
Right.
And I said, you're right. I was like, because I'm telling you, I was like, I would have had a field day in there. But then we got talking about the day that he took me, and we were upstairs and he was cleaning up something, and he just turned the vacuum off, and you just heard this boom, and I jumped up and I looked and I said, what was that? And he was like, that's the kids, they're down in the library playing.
Yep.
And I just stopped and looked at him and I said, no. I said, take me to the library right now. So he took me down to the library, and sure enough, it was one of those ones that had the ladders, and I pushed that ladder, and it
made the
same
same
noise
sound.
all the way across, and that boom was it hitting the wall. And
Yeah.
I just turned around and looked at him, and I was like, that is crazy. I wish I would have had equipment for that.
Your dad is also referring to the comment that I made the last time we were on air. We've got like 5 minutes before we're going to get kicked off of here, but I'm going to say it anyway. Remember when I talked to you about is it the South Carolina house?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you'll find it under the porch.
Oh, no, Tennessee.
Tennessee. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I told you that you'd find it at your Aunt Fanny's book.
Mm-hmm.
You'd find it under the porch. Your dad is saying something to the effect of he hid his feelings a lot about like the quote unquote paranormal and mystical stuff or whatever. He calls it phony baloney, mumbo jumbo kind of things. But he's referring to knowing that you were going to do something with that all along. And that it's okay to follow your gut instinct. If that's where it leads you and that's what you want to do, follow your heart. Don't second guess yourself. He's referring to that house. He's referring to Aunt Fanny, and he's referring to that damn book and the way that you'd walk in the house, that you'd see her through in the kitchen, and she'd be at that stove, and she wasn't humming. She was mumbling.
Mm-hmm.
And she was always fixing something.
Mm-hmm.
And she was always mumbling or humming, would seem to be humming, which was mumbling. Words have definite power, even if it's under your breath.
Yeah. Yeah, she always had something on that stove that was boiling.
And it was just protection. Basically, it was protection for herself.
Mm-hmm.
And for her family and for that house.
Yep.
There is something about that house that just hits different, feels different. And from the minute you step your foot on that porch, it knows you. It knows you.
Mm-hmm.
It knows if you're family or not. It welcomes you. Things seem familiar. And she's saying, don't be worried, don't be afraid of the snakes. I know you have a snakeophobia kind of thing, so does your sister. They all got the snakophobias. I don't know what you call it, but I'm calling it a snakeophobia. I just made up a word, snakeophobia.
I blame it on my mom.
Well, yeah, you can blame it on your mom. We'll blame it on Barb. But they're there. Him and her together are saying they're there to protect the house. They're there to protect the book. They would never hurt you in any way, shape, or form. She's laying claim to have put them there or to have called them there in order to protect what's underneath that porch. And she is still showing me those steps and the underneath of the porch by the steps. Underneath of the porch. It looks like a box, or it looks like an old brick, like a tan brick, tannish brownish brick. It's not a brick, it's a book. The book is wrapped in something.
Okay.
To protect it. But it is there. If you go behind those stairs and start crawling, you'll find it. It's there. And she's saying you have to find it because you're the only one. You're the one that's going to carry on the tradition.
Mm-hmm.
And don't be so doubtful because you've been fighting it for a very long time. She said the key is not to fight, it is to surrender to that feeling. Surrender to the knowing. That's what she's saying. Surrender to the knowing. Like, once you get that book, things will come to you like this. Like, you don't even have to think. You're the type of person who's going to put herbs in a pot and be like, I don't know why I did that. It just felt right. Like, it told me to put it in there. Or I automatically knew. Like, someone else was guiding you to do that. They weren't saying anything, but you were just doing it. That's granny magic. That's mountain granny magic. And this is what your soul was telling you to do. This is what your soul was meant to do.
And it very well could be, because every time we hit Tennessee, I always want to go there.
Why don't you?
I mean, we do, and we usually go up and visit like the land and where her cabin is. But like I said, the bridge that went over the creek there, it collapsed in. So we would have to probably get like a long enough ladder that we could put across, that we'd have to walk across to get across the other side.
Okay.
But so we haven't been actually to where the cabin is on that side in quite a while.
She said, oh, she's referring to Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. If you build it, it'll show up. That's weird. I know this all sounds archaic, but this is what I'm talking about. Like, she's just filling my head with stuff. Like, you'll know. And it's got to be within the year. Not this year. Not, from December 2025 to December 2026 in the year. Within the year.
Well, we have a South trip coming up here soon, so.
There you go. That's all I've got to say. You got anything to report there, Jen? Little did you know that you would be in the spotlight tonight. Oh my God.
I know. I did not think this at all. But I mean, it makes sense. Like I said, I know he's here and things happen, and and he'll just pop in my head, and I'm like, I know he did that. That's
Yep.
And I'm completely okay with that. And and I like hearing from other people in the family who've had things that happened. And apparently with my uncle, my uncle heard him one day yell for him down the hallway. And he's here. And as long as I know that he's okay and he's watching over us, I'm good.
Yeah. And he's doing what he was meant to do. Yeah. He's still being the force to reckon with, even though he's not there in the physical. He misses you guys. Oh my gosh. Like, I don't know what. To be able to give you guys a hug, like physically hug. Yeah. Why is he referring to smacking Bruce upside the head? Like the back of the head, just like,
I don't know.
He's doing this. And I'm like, Bop, you're too short, hon. You're too short. You're too short.
I have no idea.
Or maybe he's referring to Jordan, maybe. And still, you're still too short. With the, on the back of the head kind of thing. Or the rubbing of the back of the hair kind of.
I mean, he used to hit me behind my head when he walked past.
Maybe that's what he's referring to then.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he would do, and I'm sure he did it to other people too, but that was his thing. Like, at holidays and stuff, we'd all be standing around and, people were zipping around trying to get things done. And he would always walk past me, and he would either like, quick tap on the head, or sometimes he'd flick my nose or.
Yeah. Yep. That's it. Know that he's around you, and just say, when he pops in your head, just say, hi, Dad.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Or, Dad, give me strength for crying out loud, because I don't know what today's going to bring. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What would Dad do? The what would Dad do moments. And half the time it would be explode. But, but no, we're not going to explode. But just know that he's thinking of you. Tim, I'll get to you about popcorn at another date. Because there were other things that needed to be said, but not here. Jen, you got anything else to say, hon?
No, it's been as usual. We made it through 2 hours, and we made it through another night. I'm very excited to our next show with learning some
Witchy
magic there. And again, if anyone has anything they want to talk about, they're interested in, give me something to research. I will research my little heart out. I promise you.
Loves research.
I mean, I will get us down some rabbit holes.
Yes, we would love rabbit holes. We would love rabbit holes. Ooh, you know what? We could do a show on scrying too.
It's funny you say that. I thought about that too.
So you pick. Do you want to do magic or do you want to do scrying?
I mean, either or.
Dealer's choice.
Either direction.
Okay. Well, let's all start off with this first, and then we'll get into the scrying of things. All right. Jen, it has been another great evening. 2 hours of nonsense between the two of us. 2 hours of laughing, a little bit of crying here and there. That's always a good thing, It happens, but they were tears of joy. Let's see. I would like to thank Tim Hopper, our producer, who sat through another 2 hours and 6 minutes thus far of our shenanigans and commented. Thank you, Kat, for putting this on the air. We really, really appreciate it. Jen, again, I would never do this without anyone else other than you. We always laugh. I mean, we don't even start the show. We go live and we're laughing already at the shenanigans that happen.
It's good. It's good for the soul.
It is good for the soul. Listen, we want everyone, it's not even Christmas yet, to have a great rest of your week. And if you have anything, like Jen said, please email us. Jen, what's your email?
JenDodson79@gmail.com.
There you go. And mine is ghostwhisperer318@gmail.com. If you have anything you'd like us to do or talk about, please give Jen something to research.
Give me something.
Going nuts without being able to research anything. She loves to go down rabbit holes, just like Bro. Don't forget, next Monday, tune into Corner Cauldron. We got a good show for you. We're going to be talking about my predictions for 2026, all the way into 2028, I believe. I have to write them down. But we will have another great show. Same bat time, same bat channel. Jen, everybody, it's been great. Thank you for joining in. Anything else to say?
No, just everyone out there, just be careful, and we will see you next time.
Yeah. Cap, you got anything else you'd like to say, sir?
Nope. I think we're all good. Good show tonight.
All right.
Appreciate you guys.
Yep. And as I always say, love, peace, and chicken grease, y'all. Bye.
Stay with
Bye, everyone.
Stay witchy. Bye.